So nice to meet you all. Well, the idea to speak in English is basically I think we've got a duty as product leaders to spread the message across the borders. So you've got the cameras over there. And I think it's important as French product leaders to make sure that people across Europe can listen to us. Yeah, we raised some funds, so I'm going to talk about that and the impact it had on the company and especially on the product organization. So I tried to make that a bit fun, but you guys are going to be my guinea pigs because it's the first time I deliver this pitch. So we'll see if it works. It might fail. We'll see. So the title is From Castaway. Remember this one, Solomon? To Iron Man overnight. How to survive a massive funding round. Basically, well, I know it's a bit excessive and kind of cheesy, but I basically need to hook you and make sure that you're going to listen to me. I could have used something like this. That's good news. You all know about that. It's important to know that, but well, basically, it's kind of killing me because it's a bit boring now. We are past this moment where we need to explain what product management is all about. So this is what we're going to talk about tonight, like going beyond the standards of product management. Just let me introduce myself. Who am I? Well, I basically started as a surfer. This was my real job title. Back in the days, I'm 45 years old, 3 days from now, so I'm kind of oldie. But I started in 2002 doing mostly search marketing. Some of you might remember Nomad.fr. And Overture are basically the guys that invented sponsored links. It's not Google. Those guys, Idealab and Bill Gross, gave a business model to internet. So if you want to look that up online, you'll have a bit of history to your profile. Then I became product manager, newbie, in the field, learning from scratch, no training from Tiga or whomever else, product management for real, without any help, that basically dealing with developers in Grenoble and in London. Then I moved on to, I was kind of done with Yahoo and dealing with people overseas and spending my time overcoming frustration when it was coming down to trying to make things move forward. So I decided to stay a product manager, but basically work for French companies and French companies close to what I was used to doing, web development. And so I worked for software editors doing SaaS. So it was back in 2010, so mostly in marketing, in the marketing industry. Then I started to become an activist, and with Hugo and a bunch of other people, we launched a product tank in Paris. This is the last time I'm going to name them. Hello, mind the product. And we basically became activists because we were just by ourselves in our organization trying to do product management, but we were stumbling upon the main issue, which was how do you get the stakeholders to move forward and get along with you? And we thought that the best way to do that was to create a community in Paris and make sure we were all aligned on the best standards to do product management. Then I became, director, executive, whatever, but I mean, moved up the ladder of product management, and I stayed an activist. And with those two guys over there and Hugo, the CEO of Tiga, we decided that meetup were cool, but basically gathering, at that time it was only 30 people. So there's been some improvements. But we wanted to move a bit forward in terms of impact, and we thought back December 2015, in a bar at Saint-Lazare, we said, well, we need to put together a conference, a paying conference, in 6 months from now, and we launched LPC. And since then, I don't do anything for that. So it's Fabrice and all the guys from Tiga that organize that. And since 2019 up to 20x9, I'm a VP product management at Payfit. So I joined Payfit back in June. I'm going to talk a bit about Payfit, but then we're going to move on to product organization. So our journey so far as a company. Well, that's for the corporate presentation. We do payroll and a bit of HR as well. Our goal is to basically improve the work experience. It was funded in 2015, like 3 guys. It was not in a garage, it was in an apartment in Paris, Firmin, Guilain, and Florian. They just gathered and they put the product together. First client would, well, I'm going to move on. There's going to be the timeline afterwards. At the moment, we've got 3,000 customers across Europe. We're in 4 countries. We're actually closer to 4,000 customers. When I joined back in June, we were 220 Payfitters. We are 360 as of today. We're going to be 450 in January and so on. So the timeline. Back in 2016, first clients in France. So we launched the product in beta. The first client, I think, was Nestor. And then we got other startups. We got the first fundraising, Series A, 5 million euros in October. 2017, we were 20 people. We got the Series B, 14 million euros. 50 collaborators in October. We move on to 2018. It's a bit boring, but you'll see my point afterwards. We launched Spain. 100 collaborators in May. We launched Germany in October. 180 in December, end of 2018. Yeah, December. 2019, we launched UK. 70 million euros back in June. And by December will be 400. So as a company, this is kind of the timeline. This is a summary, but what you've got to remember, first clients was it April 2016, 3 years and a half later, it's close to 4,000 clients. So that's the growth rate as a company that we've taken. So my goal was to, I'm not going to go into processes and so on, but like what you feel as a product manager when you get through that growth rate. So what you're going to have to deal with, that's obvious, that's growth. So, well, yeah, growth, that's a great opportunity. It brings you much power. You can feel that you're going to be powerful, but it's a bit chaotic and a bit dangerous as well. So you've got to know that. It's kind of hip to talk about fundraising, about number, like vanity metrics, number of collaborators, and so on. But that's vanity only. I mean, that's good means getting money, but you've got to be cautious. As a product organization, now we switch to the product organization, and I'm going to slow down a bit. When you switch to the product organization, January 2016, remember the product was launched in April, 4 product people. We'll get into what product people mean at Payfit. At the end of the year, 2016, 8 people. The 5 million fundraising round. 2017, 9 product people. The end of the year, 25 people. Second round. January 2018, 29 product people. At the end of the year, 46. 2019, 54. The end of the year, 85. We got the round in June. Then for 2020, we're talking about that's forecast 85 in January, 127 by the end of December. In 2021, 171 product people. That's a growth rate. You've got to deal with lots of issues. We'll talk afterwards, but that's a great opportunity, lots of product people. So that was the forecast that we did a couple of months ago. Well, the thing is not accurate anymore. Basically, there's been lots of changes since then, and the figures are a bit more aggressive than that. And this is where we're going to go into a bit of complexity or sophistication when it comes to how we do products at Payfit. You basically have 2 kind of product teams. You've got a global product team, like product people we know about, where you've got engineers, product managers, product designers, and product ops. You've got another team, which is called local product team. If you go to the careers page of Payfit, those people get hired under the title of product builder. They use Jetlong, and internally they're called Jetlong Masters. Those guys are responsible for hyper-personalized product market fit at the local level. We do payroll. Payroll is complex. If it were up to the global team to make some developments, adaptation to make sure that the product fits with the local needs, then you'll be screwed. There's lots of big companies executing in the same area that we do, that have had lots of troubles launching their product across borders. Because the organization model you put in place is key to executing and make sure that your product perfectly fits the need of your clients locally. So global product team is responsible for any feature that can be neutralized across any countries or that are not country specific. Local product team, they're basically running the the last kilometer. Let's put it this way. The figures I gave before was a combination of global and local. The exercise we did when we joined, when I joined along with the other VPs, was how can we build up the global product team to make sure that we can cope with the high growth in terms of clients. And so we did this exercise. I'm not going to go into the organization. It's quite aligned with what the guys from Doctolib said, kind of the same approach. But then when you forecast the number of people you need, well, this is where we are today, September 19. So we've got 60 people. That's fair. 40, well, I guess we're close to 70 now, but let's say 60, 43 engineers, actually 12 product managers, and 7 designers. When we forecast the need we're going to have at the global product team level, well, we know that in a year from now, we'll be close to 150. And in 2 years from now, we should be close to 215. That's forecast. So forecast, as you've seen before, might imply updates. But this is the kind of situation you can get in when you go through an aggressive growth rate. So the first key takeaway, there's going to be translation at the end. Sometimes you got to run before you can walk. And this is something important to know. Nothing's going to be perfect. You've got an opportunity, you've got to seize it and make your best out of it. And as a product leader, you've got to live by this mojo. This is really important. It doesn't prevent you from getting organized, but you've got an opportunity, just seize it. And you might have to adapt yourself and your organization to cope with the further growth you're going to get. Then the other situation you're going to get, you see the numbers. Second challenge you're going to have is hiring people. There's lots of competition with the guy from Miro, Doctolib. It was not Doctolib, it was Miro, sorry. Miro, Doctolib, and so on. Yeah, in Algolia, they got 110 today. So hiring, that's important because this is something you should keep in your mind. That it's quite famous, culture, it's strategy for breakfast. What it means, you can do whatever you want, whatever the level you're at. You can come up with great strategy. If your culture is shitty, you're screwed once again. So, and this is the number one issue you're going to have hiring people. How do you make sure, well, you've got to find talents, of course, highly competent people. But you're going to have to make sure that those guys just not stick, but reinforce, nurture the culture you have. Because that's going to be key to ride this massive growth rate. And what we thought at Payfit, and well, this is like one-on-one hiring for dummies, because we're not the only ones who have thought about that, but just to set principles. So first off, any team we create, we've got this concept of Triforce. Well, this is not our concept, this is kind of a standard. When we put a team together, this is not like developers and then product managers and then potentially designers. This is like PM, designers, dev. For the tribes we've got directors. Each tribe we've got product management director, designer director, and engineering director. So it's really key for us to tackle a problem via the various angles that we can have. The second principle is product team. We don't talk about feature. It might sound like just semantic, but we don't talk about feature team. We talk about product team. That's a real difference because I don't want people to just. I don't want my organization to become a feature factory. This is not the point. I mean, features features are necessaries, but they're not sufficient to create a great experience. So empowered product teams means you're going to have to come up with great alignment between the vision of Payfit and the value we're going to create for our customers. And this is called experience. And you might have to release some features. And you're going to be active in terms of how do you drive your tribe. It's not about getting orders from me, for instance, or Florian, the CPO. It's about you being an entrepreneur and making sure that you create some value, you create a stunning experience. Because our mission or vision, or whatever you call it, it's not about doing only easy payroll, it's about work experience. So, and the other thing is, whatever the organization you put in place, you know, at some point when you've got this scale, it can, I mean, the trap you're going to be, well, the trap you might fall in is bureaucracy. And the thing is, the principle is wherever you are in the organization, you always have to go beyond lines and boxes. So this is your duty as a product creator, whether you be manager, designer, or developer, to go beyond your lines and boxes in order to coordinate, to align with the other people in the organization. It's not only down to me. Well, I just wanted to tell you that this is at every level, this approach of Triforce is implemented. So we've got VP Engineering, VP Design, and VP Product. So it's not product management handling design. It's like 3 pillars, and we're all reporting to one of the co-founder, Florian Fournier. And it's down all the organization. I mean, this approach is go down the full organization. The other thing, the hiring process, that's quite standard. Well, we just come up in the offers, just making sure that the, how do you say that in English? The candidates know exactly what they're going to go through. And there's just one last step. We were doing that at PrestaShop, but it was a bit more aggressive. It was like, how do we call that? It was we were inviting the candidates at a bar and we were drinking beers. So it's kind of dangerous. What we do at Payfit is got whatever your level, whatever your position in the organization, every candidate is going to have to attend a barbecue test. So you don't have to like switch sausage on the barbecue, but it's just like you show up and you've got this awkward moment where you show up. You know, it happens sometimes when you go to a party, you don't know anyone, and it feels a bit awkward. And so this is exactly what happens. You show up, you've got your blue glass with your name on it, and you feel a bit awkward. But I think it's actually really cool because this is whatever your position, anyone can give a feedback on you. The way it works, the day of the barbecue test on Slack. All the candidates that are going to show up during the barbecue test, their profile, their LinkedIn profile is shared. And so you can get to know them, and then you talk with them during the barbecue test, and you give feedback to the hiring manager. And if the person is douchebag, well, basically, which should not happen because it's gone through a process. But if it's a real douchebag or ego issue or whatever, honestly, it does not happen. But anyone in the company that has talked with him could just let the hiring manager know about it. Sorry, I'm late. Okay, key takeaway number 2, look out for colleagues, find friends, because this is what you're going to need during hard times. Then the other thing is system thinking. This one I'm gonna go fast, hopefully. System thinking, yeah. You remember this scene? It's just before him leaving the island. What I think is thinking alone is a deadly trap, because that can trigger deadly solutions. Remember, well, we don't see anything, but he's on a raft, and he ended up in a very bad situation. So the best way to avoid this kind of lonely approach is to rely on a few principles once again. No ego. I'm talking about product leaders. No ego, no magic wand, and no wishful thinking. What I mean by that is, whatever you call it, organization models, processes, tools, PM acting as a dictator. It was like a debate some years ago. This is not the approach that's gonna help you. what you've got to apply is system thinking. If you want to change the user experience, and as a product leader, you don't go through the two stacks that are just before the final step, which is changing the user experience, like culture and technical stack. You want to go right up there without having any clues about what's happening down there. You might have luck and it might work, but ultimately you're going to have a problem. You've got to go through the cultural, technical stacks in order to change the user experience. In terms of culture, what I mean, well, you've got three things that are important. Vision, that's key as a product leader, and especially when you go through this kind of high growth period, relying upon the vision, making sure that it's not only down to the CEO to embody the vision, but you've got to understand that, you've got to push him in order to explain what he means by that. You've got to do some workshop, and you've got to make sure that your product teams really understand that. Because it's going to help you when you've got to prioritize. You might use Jira or Notion or whatever to do road mapping or product plan or product board or whatever, but if you don't have like this do's and don'ts, ins and outs about the vision, once again, you're screwed. Skills, well, this is what I said, Triforce, this is key. If you want to do a great experience, you need product managers, you need designers, you need developers, and you need data, period, no debate. That's the way it works. And the other thing, of course, it's processes. If you don't have processes, this is going to be chaotic. It's got to be industrialized at some point to make things leaner. The other thing is, in terms of technology, well, this is the first thing you've got to do. Like some kind of assessment. If you're a product leader or as a product organization, you've got to make sure that it might sound a bit conceptual, but versatile, meaning that you've got to make sure that if you've got several devices or touch points with your consumers, how do you make sure that your technology enables you to change the user experience on the iOS, Android, and web version, for instance? Is it easy? Isn't it easy? Well, you've got to know the situation. Fluidity, it's, I used to work for a company. They were changing one of their touch points out of 5 every 2 years. I mean, yeah, you can jump on your chair and saying, well, you've got to have the same user experience everywhere, but the first thing you've got to do is change this technical stack in order to enable you to get the consistent user experience across all touch points. And so you need some kind of fluidity, because you're not going to change your user experience every 2 years. You're going to change it every 2 minutes. And, well, this is where technology and knowing exactly and getting your CTO on board working as a Triforce is key, because if you don't have that, you won't change anything in production. And resilient, because yeah, you can change your user experience every 2 minutes, but you won't have success every 2 minutes. Sometimes you're gonna screw things over and screw things up, and it's not gonna work, and so you've got to be resilient somehow. And the other thing is user experience. Well, this is something important, especially when you've got lots of opportunities. You're growing aggressively, you've got lots of opportunities with new clients, new countries, and so on. So as a product manager, you've got to be thoughtful. Whenever you're going to mobilize resources internally, you've got to make sure to do your homeworks. What is your intent? Why do you want to use designers or developers? What is going to be the outcome? So thinking that through and being thoughtful about it is really key. Otherwise, you're gonna piss some of your designers or developers. The other thing is you've got to look at for impact. It's not about, as I said, it's not about releasing project, releasing features. It's about creating an impact. And sometimes you don't need any features for doing that. I've got an example, but I'm short on time, so I'll move on. And the other thing is consistency. I mean, that's obvious, you know about that. Whatever the device you use and whatever the technical stack, you've got to be consistent in terms of user experience. So key takeaway number 3 is like heroes are made by the path that they choose, not the powers they are graced with. So you live by what you do and not by what you are or about what people think you are. So this is not an inside-in approach. This is an outside-in approach. This is an inside-out kind of approach. Well, then there's another thing, health. Like being in good shape. When you go through this kind of a ride, I don't know for you guys, But well, you're younger than me, so might be easier. But yeah, you're going through a hard time. There's this rule of threes in nature, where basically, I screwed up the slide. Well, if you're in nature, if you don't pay attention for 3 seconds, you might be dead. If you miss oxygen for 3 minutes, you might be dead. Shelter for 3 hours, you might be in a bad situation. Water for 3 days, you might be in bad condition. And food for 3 weeks, you might be, well, dead as well. So this is the rule of 3. If you end up on an island, just prioritize this way. Well, I tried to do that for a scale-up company. So that's just a proposal. I think that you can spend your whole day long, like from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, just working again, jumping to a meeting, to another meeting, and so on. I think for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your company, just slowing down a bit from time to time. Like every 3 hours, you take a break, take a smoke, whatever you do, but take a break. Just relieve your mind. The other thing is, for the ones that have got family, going through a scale-up might have some impact on your family as well. So putting in your agenda, in your mind, that you need to have, if you've not had great family time in 3 days in a row, that might end up really bad with your wife. Good sleep, same thing. If you had like bad sleep for 3 weeks in a row, man, that's going to be bad as well. So dedicate some time to sleeping well. This is really important for yourself, your family, and your company. And the other thing is doing sport. I mean, whatever it is. Like if you've not done sport over a quarter, yeah, you're going to take some weight. You're going to be in bad mood. So just push yourself to doing a bit of sport. And I don't say like running ultra trails or La Diagonale des Fous or UTMB, this kind of stuff. Like doing sport, just getting out. Key takeaway number 4, whoever you are, even Tony Stark, who builds great stuff, has got a great girl, occasionally save the world, is wondering, why can I sleep? So even superheroes have got sleep problems. As a bonus, 28 minutes, I'm good. As a bonus, key takeaway number 5. Well, this one is, well, kind of from me. So it's really hard to be a great PM. Don't delude yourself. It's 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So, as I said earlier, wishful thinking, magic wand, this kind of stuff. Thinking that a specific methodology, like you've got a big product team. Well, you're gonna go and jump into the Spotify product organization model. Yeah, sure, but you've got to think that through and make sure that it properly applies to your company. Same thing for tooling. You've got issues with your roadmap. You come up with the famous tooling benchmark. Well, sure, but you might have to go through the cultural stack first, and then the tooling is gonna be like the last step for creating great roadmaps and great roadmap process. So basically, as product managers and as product organization, we need to do our homework. There's no shortcuts. So as a summary, hopefully it's been clear, but I just wanted to retranslate the key takeaways. So first sentence, first quote, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk. Well, the consequences deal with that. You're gonna have to scale yourself up. And tell to yourself, failing is just learning. And this is where you should hire friends or people that have got a good mindset. Because if you're failing and they just shoot you down, then that's not a good situation. And tell yourself, if you fail, it might need that you leveled you up somehow and that you're just improving yourself. But you're gonna have to go through that, no shortcuts. Look out for colleagues, find friends. Yeah, this is what I told earlier. Surround yourself with great and kind people. I know that hunting talents is really difficult. Believe me, it's really difficult. But never surrender on this key criteria, which is, would I share a beer, a dessert, a meal, a weekend with this guy or this lady? Well, yeah, just for work reasons. That's really important, because in bad situation, Yes. In bad situation, it's going to save you. Heroes are made by the paths they choose, not the powers they are graced with. Continuous translation, continuous effort, not strength nor intelligence, is the key to unlocking our potential. There's no superhero. You're a superhero when you show up. That's the first step. And when you deal with the situation and try to make your best out of it. Fourth takeaway. Well, basically humility. This is the solid foundation of all virtues. You might, we've gone through, there's Algolia, Doctolib, Miro, Payfit. This is vanity metrics. You could just feel really great about that, but stay humble. This is just vanity metrics. You're going to have to go through hard time. Even Tony Stark cannot properly sleep. So, deal with that, stay humble, and try to, as I said, improve yourself. That's actually the best opportunity when you get to this kind of growth rate. And the last one, don't delude yourself. It's 100% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Basically, what I think is, as a product organization, we launched product activities, meetups, and a conference, LPC, some years ago. We've got a duty, not only to ourselves, like product managers in France, we've got a duty to the market and to the industry. I mean, there's been Criteo. We need to, whoever it is, there's good results, but basically we need to create an industrial champion. And we shall not, there's great example in the UK, in the US, but look, the difference there's been between them and us, they've been exposed to the kind of situation we're starting to live in France. And we've got to seize this opportunity to improve ourselves, but to create digital champions that goes beyond France. Because 10 years ago, I was wishing to see some startups that were snapping such fundraising. I was dreaming to see product managers that were accumulating such experience that were becoming really talented product managers. And this is the exact moment we're in. So when I say stay humble for yourself. Don't let your ego jump into your mind too much, but stay ambitious for the project you rely upon, for your country potentially, and Europe as well. I wish you guys to, whatever the company you're in, if you're in this kind of scale up, I wish you guys to live it at least twice in your professional lifetime, because this is exactly what our peers in product management in UK and the US have lived over the last 10 years. And I think that's the last slide. No, the last slide is this one. We're hiring, yeah. I got shamed by Leah, the VP design, saying this slide is really ugly, like the others actually, she told me. But the message is here. We're hiring in Barcelona, Berlin, London, Paris. We're actually looking for product managers, designers, and developers in Barcelona. And we'll surely be opening new product offices across Europe in the coming month. Thank you. On peut faire la question-réponse si vous en avez en français. Évidemment, si vous en avez, c'est le moment.
Est-ce que vous avez des questions du coup?
Alors, tu me l'as fait en français parce que je comprends pas ton anglais.
Comment tu gères ton test de barbecue avec des introvertis?
Mais on est bienveillant, donc... Ah, ok. Ouais. Alors, comment tu gères ton barbecue test avec des introvertis? En fait, tu as deux choses. Déjà, le recruteur, enfin la personne qui arrive au barbecue test, elle a passé quand même quelques entretiens. Donc, a priori, c'est un trait de sa personnalité qu'on devrait avoir cerné. Donc, c'est la responsabilité du recruteur aussi de le faire savoir aux autres payfitters. Et puis après, je vais dire, t'as rien qui te garantit que l'introverti ne va pas s'effondrer pendant le barbecue test. T'as rien qui te garantit ça. Mais en même temps, si c'est le cas, on fait juste pas bien notre job. Parce que Enfin, quand on parle bienveillance, alors je sais que c'est le truc un peu tarte à la crème, tout ça, et je ne vais pas parler des fondeurs, tout ça, mais la réalité, c'est que l'humilité, la bienveillance, je vous jure, c'est un truc qui est vraiment présent chez Payfit. Donc c'est impossible que quelqu'un qui soit introverti, arrivant au barbecue test, sachant qu'il a été présenté, que les participants savent pourquoi il est là, en plus il a son petit verre bleu avec son nom dessus, les gens vont venir vers lui et vont essayer de le rendre à l'aise. Bon, après, si effectivement il est fermé comme une huître et qu'il n'y a rien à en tirer, bon, là ça peut être effectivement un critère de non-sélection au final.
Je suis sûr que vous avez plein d'autres questions. Ça a été timide.
Ouais, je voulais savoir, tout à l'heure, tu parlais de l'organisation en fait, de ton équipe, et notamment de product team. Et je voulais savoir comment t'assurer une vision commune, ou en tout cas une bonne communication entre toutes ces équipes qui sont censées construire une expérience sur des produits un petit peu différents.
Alors ça, c'est une grosse partie du boulot parce que effectivement, le problème numéro un que tu as quand tu as de nombreuses équipes, c'est la coordination. Je pense qu'il y a différentes choses. Il y a Arthur Rougier là, qui a pris la parole il n'y a pas longtemps pour parler du framework alignement autonomie. Donc quand je parlais du mindset culturel, et de se dire que ça commence dès le recrutement, ça se continue par l'onboarding des PM. Moi, l'onboarding des PM, je les picouse bien sur le modèle d'alignement et d'autonomie. Donc quel que soit ton niveau, que ce soit junior, PM, senior, directeur, tout ça, c'est un modèle que tu dois comprendre. Le mieux, c'est que tu y adhères même. Et ce modèle-là, qu'est-ce qu'il dit? Il dit qu'en tant que créateur de produits, c'est ta responsabilité que d'avoir une forme d'autonomie, enfin pas une forme, d'être autonome, d'exercer ton sens critique, mais c'est en même temps ta responsabilité de faire le travail d'alignement. Moi, je trouve que quand je disais tout à l'heure, ce truc-là, c'est un truc qui vient de l'intérieur. Et c'est là que tout le processus de sélection en amont et d'onboarding est ultra clé, parce que si tu as des gens qui finalement se retrouvent juste le doigt sur la couture et qui attendent des ordres, alors c'est bien, ils sont super alignés, mais alors surtout si dans une situation comme ça, tu es mort parce que ces personnes-là n'iront jamais plus loin que ce que tu leur demandes. Si à l'opposé, tu as des gens qui sont ultra autonomes, talentueux, autonomes, mais qui n'en font qu'à leur tête, pareil, tu es un peu dans la merde quand même, quoi. Donc ce modèle de quel est le bon équilibre à trouver entre alignement et autonomie, le fait de l'avoir en tête, le fait d'essayer de le développer, de l'expliquer, encore une fois, cette stack culturelle, de la mettre en place, ça c'est important. La deuxième chose, c'est qu'il y a des fonctions aussi. Les tribes qu'on crée, à la tête des tribes, on a décidé de mettre des directeurs. Directeur produit, directeur design, directeur ingénierie. Dans directeur, il y a direction. Donc leur responsabilité, et dans la job desk, il y a vraiment la nécessité d'avoir une vision, une approche un peu holistique, de faire au-delà des process, encore une fois, de faire ce travail d'alignement, de coordination. Et tu sais quoi, ça? Alors effectivement, quand tu es en remote, ça peut être un peu plus compliqué. Et c'est un problème qu'on va avoir à un moment. Là, pareil, dans la sélection des personnes que tu recrutes en remote au début, ça va être ultra important d'avoir des gens qui savent travailler dans cet état d'esprit-là. Mais ce rôle de directeur vise à s'assurer qu'il y ait une coordination presque informelle, naturelle, organique qui se met en place. Et enfin, tu as les process. On est passé, j'ai pas parlé de Product Ops, mais un des rôles les plus importants, des départements les plus importants, c'est qu'on a créé et qui va se développer encore, c'est Product Ops. Product Ops, c'est, tu sais, quand tu fais un organigramme, il est beau ton organigramme, tout ça, enfin il est beau, il est impressionnant, un peu flippant de temps en temps. En fait, le truc le plus important, c'est tous les espaces blancs dedans. Enfin, moi je trouve, c'est tous les espaces blancs. Parce qu'en fait, c'est là que tout peut se passer ou ne pas se passer. Et donc, un département comme Product Ops, son rôle, c'est de mettre du liant, les engrenages un petit peu entre ces différentes tribes. Et en termes de process, oui, d'avoir des cérémonies. Tu vois, on réfléchit à un truc là avec Léa qui discutait avec Rémi Guyot de Blablacar. Les gars d'Airbnb apparemment font ça aussi. On se disait qu'on allait mettre en place un système de check-in sûrement au cours du trimestre. Alors le truc, c'est qu'il ne faut pas que ce soit pris comme un péage et quelque chose de trop castrateur, quoi. Mais l'idée, c'est juste un check-in. et de se dire, ok, où t'en es, c'est des synchros, voilà, mais un peu légères sur un angle particulier d'un projet. Tu vois, on se dit, tu dois faire de la discovery, tiens, est-ce que tu as bien traité ta discovery, comment tu l'as fait? Tu as fait ta solution discovery, tu as des premières solutions qui sont disponibles, bon bah tiens, on reboucle tous ensemble. Bon, ça c'est un des process, tout à l'heure vous parliez d'autres process, voilà, toute la partie process, là pour le coup, tu as tout un tas de littérature, et c'est là que l'intelligence que tu dois avoir, c'est pas de prendre ce qui existe et de l'appliquer directement, mais de se dire, voilà, tu as ta stack culturelle, tu as la fonction, et tu as des process aussi, qui te servent à faire ça. Mais après, il y a pas de... tout ça, ça te sert juste à dérisquer, quoi, en fait. Parce que je te dis, on fait tout ça, et je ne suis pas à l'abri qu'on fasse un truc, et qu'on se plante, et que ça ne marche pas, et qu'on se marche sur les pieds les uns les autres. Hein. Quand ils ont mis en place les Blablacar, les tribes, il y a plusieurs années, avec Fred Dermer, le précédent VP produit avant Rémi, un des retours de Julien Pelletier, qui est chez Hitch maintenant, qui était le product designer, était en mode, ouais, bon, le problème c'est qu'on se marche un peu sur les pieds les uns les autres. Bon, voilà, ça arrivera toujours, ça frictionne toujours un peu.
Moi, je connais une très bonne solution pour faire des check-in. Dans l'organisation 2021 que tu as rapidement mis tes effectifs, il y a une partie design et product qui est très importante par rapport au dev. Bon, en gros, c'est presque 50-50. Et il y a une partie design qui est significative.
Ouais.
Alors, je suis un peu myopie sur le produit, mais ça me paraît énorme comme rapport. Comment est-ce que c'est ça, c'est l'organisation cible, et en particulier dans une situation B2B?
Attends. 50-50, t'es sûr? Alors, c'est le moment un peu gênant, mais... Non, mais peut-être, hein. Dans ce cas-là, je suis un peu surpris, mais... Ah, là. Non, tu vois, t'as...
Ouais, mais t'as quand même 50... T'as un tiers, 2 tiers.
Non, ouais, bah, enfin, la règle, après, ça, c'est un forecast, hein, mais en gros, on s'est dit un PM, un designer et demi, parce que dans les designers, t'as les product designers, mais tu peux avoir des user researchers aussi. Donc en gros, un PM, un designer et demi. Et on part, alors je ne sais plus dans le chiffre là, mais c'est 5-6 devs, on se dit. Un PM, 5-6 devs, bon, c'est peut-être entre 5 et 7. Mais là, c'est le moment où, en termes d'organisation, de toute façon, c'est dans 2 ans, il peut se passer plein de trucs d'ici là. Mais au doigt mouillé, on se dit, en gros, si ça marche bien, si on rentre sur les nouvelles verticales qu'on souhaite faire, si on est aligné avec la vision, on est sur ce volume-là, à 50 près.